When we want to express a message, we start off with an idea of what we want to say. This is non-linguistic at first, it's just a thought, and we call this domain of knowledge conceptual semantics. In order to produce that thought, we have to translate it into linguistic representation. So the first step of that is to translate our ideas into words, and we call this lexical semantics. So in aging, some of these domains are affected more than others. The domains of syntax and phonology are pretty well preserved, and it's thought that these are preserved because they're more highly practiced and they become, by adulthood, they become highly automatized and more rule-based domains. But the more flexible and creative aspects of language, how we're encoding the meaning of what we want to say, those are the aspects that are more vulnerable to breakdown. With age, wisdom should accrue within an individual. And if, to the extent that our wisdom is shared with other members of society, wisdom should also accrue over time within that society. And I think that's one of the reasons we're so interested in the question of wisdom. So, as part of an assumption behind my proposal is that the value of wisdom is not so much in a given individual, but it's in its transmission. And that transmission occurs usually through language. So my proposal is that declines in productive language that have been observed to occur with age will be associated with reductions in the perception of wisdom. So the way I propose to do this is by eliciting oral narratives from adult speakers, and I'm going to include young, middle, and older adults in this group, and to audio record those samples, transcribe them, subject those transcripts to a number of different linguistic analyses, and then to have a different group of adult listeners, both old and young, listen to those recordings and rate the speakers on dimensions that tap into their wisdom. I decided to go with an implicit approach. And by that I mean implicit in two different ways. I'm more interested in lay perceptions of wisdom, as I think that question is more ecologically valid for what I want to look at. And I also wanted to come at the question of wisdom implicitly. I don't want to explicitly ask my listeners to judge, is this person wise? There are a wide range of language analyses. I'm not going to go through all of these, but they fall into three main categories. The grammatical analyses, such as the complexity and length of the sentences that are used, semantic analyses, such as the diversity and specificity of the words that are used in the sample, and measures at the discourse level that look at the organization of the narrative and its overall coherence. So what I expect to find is that language function will decline with age, as has been found in previous research, and that this linguistic decline will be associated with lower wisdom ratings. But I also want to be able to explore the findings and investigate which language skills decline most with age, but also which language skills seem to be have a stronger impact on perceptions of wisdom. On the flip side of that, I want this data to also give us information about which language skills do not decline with age and may be associated with higher wisdom ratings. And this information might help us counteract some of the negative stereotypes of aging that exist in our society.